This is my next area of attack. These are the hot water lines, the feed and return that go to the upstairs radiator. They go up through the ceiling in these joist bays, and they come along and they dive into the wall and then go up to the radiator. So these copper pipes need to be insulated and inspected just to make sure. I do notice some green patina there, but because this is an unheated space, I think we had some water condense on those pipes and give it that green tint. But I'm going to get up there and get a better look at it and make sure there's no issues up there, because there's a lot of green patina. So I just want to give that a good inspection and make sure there's nothing going on up there that needs to be addressed before I close up the ceiling. So I'll also work over here where they do the 90. They come through the ceiling and dive down into the wall right next to this vent stack. And these are some wires nearby I have to contend with. So I'm going to insulate this all the way down to the bottom plate of the wall. And this is where they dive down into the cellar and go to the valves and turn them on and off. So I was able to get these pipes insulated. These go up to the radiator. These are the feed and return lines. So they come up through the joist bay, they make a right-hand turn, and they head up to the radiator. And then here's the other one over here. So this is a done deal. I carried this insulation. The noodles are all the way down, adjacent to the vent stack, all the way down into the bottom of the wall, and they dive into the cellar right through there. So I laid out the vanity profile on the floor. We're going with a 30-inch vanity from Strasser. And these lines here in the middle represent the center line where the pipe for the drain has to come out, which is directly in line with the cold water supply on the right. So that needs to be relocated, as does the hot water pipe. So we have to fall within this box right here. So the top drawer has a cutout that's 8.5 inches wide. So the hot and cold water supply has to fall within this box when it comes out of the wall, which should be no problem. So first what I want to do is move the water that's in here now and get the drain put in and get that all set, and then I'll work on the water line after that. So I have to go down in the cellar and come up with a plan on how I'm going to accomplish that, because these two copper pipes got to come out and the drain has to go in. So let's have a look down there and see if we can come up with a game plan on how that's going to happen. So this is the stub that used to service the drain for the sink in the existing bathroom, and I can plumb into that. It's directly in line with the water supplies that go up to the top. So there's the cold water and there's the hot water. So previously, if we spin this around, the drain was right in between them, because that's where the vanity was. So where we have this cold water supply right here, this is where the drain's got to come through. So obviously there's an interference, and not only with this valve, but also this main line here. Might have to move this as well. So what I'm going to have to do is basically get all of this out of the way while keeping the upstairs bathroom connected. So the hot and cold water supply that goes up to the second story bathroom are these two pipes here. So these are hardwired in. There's no valve right here. There is a valve downstream. The two valves with the blue handles. So those are the shutoffs for the water that goes upstairs. So I'm going to have to, not only am I going to have to take this out, but I'm going to have to make a jumper that can go over here to keep water going upstairs. So this is kind of like a 3-for-1 change. I'm going to change the drain and the water supply for the downstairs and the water supply for the upstairs. So this is going to be a little bit of work, but we'll get it figured out. Nothing is insurmountable. Just got to like stare at it for about a half an hour and kind of come up with a plan in my head, and then we'll go from there. So I'm going to stare at this for a while and think about how I need to make this happen. And while I'm staring, I'm going to just take off these insulation noodles so I have access to the bare pipes. These also continue on down this way, and these service the kitchen sink. But these are also capped over here. So the downstream end, I don't have to worry about that at this point because there's no water going down there to the sink. So technically I can cut those off. So, and also after these pipes, we get the hot and cold water supply that goes to this utility sink down here. So I got to keep water going to this sink and the upstairs bathroom. So let me stare at this for a while and I'll get it all figured out and we'll go from there. I'm just coming back from Lowe's and Home Depot. I had to run out and get some plumbing supplies. I'm in the process of reconfiguring the bathroom to accept our new vanity plumbing, and I didn't have what I needed. Well, I had part of what I needed, but I needed some more Sharkbite fittings and whatnot. So I stopped and got those. I also needed 2 more sections of 6-inch diameter ducting for the vent. They didn't have any of those at Lowe's, but they had some at Home Depot. I was able to get that. Plus, I was able to get the outside diffuser. So when I go outside of the house with the vent, I have like a little flapper thing so that when it's shut off, it closes. So no birds or critters can get in there. So I got that as well. So I have everything I need to finish the vent installation and get it to the exterior of the house. It's a beautiful day, so I think I might stop on the way. I got one small task I wanted to do today, and then I wanted to run home. It's kind of nice out, maybe get some outdoor time and in R&R kind of stuff, and then get back working on things once the sun goes down. But I do have one little task I want to do first, so I'm going to stop and do that. It should only take a couple of minutes, and then I'll be heading home after that. So I stopped at the cemetery because when I was here last, I found my younger brother's grave. This is Brian and my dad, but my mom got planted before any of these guys, and there was no grave marker. So I'm like, where the hell's Mom's grave? So I feel better about knowing that the grave is actually there, not misplaced. So Mom, you're back out in the open. You can get a breath of fresh air. I'll be back to give this a little more of a cleanup. I'll tidy up these guys as well. So this is my outdoor time today. All right, back to work. Okay, I got all my PEX fittings and my plumbing supplies on the ready. And what I'm going to do over here is I have my master plan all marked out. So where you see those black lines on the copper pipe, that's where I'm going to be cutting the pipes off. Same thing over here. I'll be cutting them off there and there. And all of this stuff here, all of this is coming out. Everything. And then all of this too. All those valves there with the blue turners on it, and all the way up into the wall. So I'm gonna like totally redo this whole area, and once I start cutting lines, I'm committed. So here goes. So this is the remains of what I took out of there. This is all the valves and the guts of what I had to take apart. So what I'm left with is a nice clean open space. There's no pipes in here at all. This is where previously the hot and cold water line came through those little holes right there. So I got the hot and cold water lines cut, cleaned, and prepped and ready for a fitting. Same thing over here on the return leg, which goes over to the kitchen sink. And those are the lines that go upstairs to the bathroom. So first thing I want to do is make a loop. Similar to if I come over here. If you remember one of my other episodes, I had to make a loop to get around this trap. So I just used some 90s and some PEX, just went right around and reconnected. So basically that's what I'm going to be doing over here, except I have to add a T in the loop to get water up to the bathroom, up in this general area, and the T will be on these two here, and there'll be another T over this way to connect to those. So I'm going to get to it, and I'll show you what I come up with after everything's connected. I just finished the plumbing job. Now these are the pipes that go to the upstairs bathroom on the second story. So these are Sharkbite fittings. So they're 1/2 inch to 1/2 inch. Just press fit, and then it comes down here. These are the little holders that keep it steady on the mounting surface. So now it dives down into the cellar right here. Here's where the pipes dive into the cellar through the bottom of the wall. So they come down here. These are the on and off shut off valves. And then I have a T fitting. And then if we go this way, you can see that loop that I talked about earlier, where we're connecting up to the water supply from the curb, and these continue on. These are the shut-off valves for the first floor bathroom vanity that I'm getting this arranged for. And what I did was I left 2 stubby ends because I still have to put it up through the wall. At first I want to put the drain pipe in, and then I'll decide where I need to, how we need to route those. So now coming back to the stop valves. So these are the valves that will turn the water on and off in the vanity. And then we'll come back around this way. So this is kind of like the detour that sends water up to the upstairs second floor bathroom. That's for the shower and the toilet. And these continue on, and they reconnect right here through these 90s. And these go on straight through towards the kitchen. So this would be the kitchen water supply going in this direction. So then it comes down here, turns a corner, and then it goes up into the kitchen. So right now these have been capped with Sharkbite plugs. And to the left is the drain. That's the drain pipe that goes into the wall. So that'd be for the kitchen sink. So backtracking again. We also have another circuit for this supply line right here. And these are the hot and cold water shut-off valves that go to our utility sink. So this is our temporary sink and a temporary workbench at this point. So there you go. So let's look at the mayhem I created working on all this. So here's my toolbox area. I'm trying to keep my tools close by where I'm working. Here's the debris of everything that I took apart and out of that cavity. And over here, my perfectly manicured workbench is destroyed once again. But these are all my plumbing fittings, so I just kind of spit everything out and I grab what I need. So those of you who are curious on how this PEX-A cold expansion works, is this machine has an anvil. So you put one of these white stoppers on it. So here's your raw PEX. You put on one of these white stoppers till it hits the back. You hold the trigger down and this will expand the pipe. And once it's expanded, you just take your fitting, You stick it in there. And what happens is the memory of the plastic wants to return it to its original shape. So it kind of compresses onto the fitting. And that's how these are done. So there's no heat, there's no torch, there's no flux, there's no solder. It's just this tool here and these plastic bits. And it makes plumbing really easy. So this is what I removed from the rafter area and replaced with PEX. So this was the hot and cold water supply going to the original bathroom sink. And over here, these are the hot and cold water supplies going to the upstairs bathroom. So that got replaced with PEX as well. So this here that I'm focused on right now is what this has become right here. So these two lines, which I left a little extra hanging out here, this is going to go up to the vanity once I have the drain line put in. These two here went to the upstairs bathroom on the second floor, and those are replaced with these right here. So that goes up to the second floor bathroom. So that's what I did. So the reason I had to do all this work was just so I could poke a hole in the floor to put in the drain pipe, because all this was in the way. So this is the layout of the vanity, and that center mark right there is where I have to drill a 1.5 inch hole through the floor for the drain. And there was a water supply line right there in the way. So I had to get that out of the way so I could drill a 1.5 inch hole right there, because that has to be centered on the vanity perfectly.